Rodrygo. Arsenal need to sign Rodrygo. It has never been more apparent than after that first preseason match. And yes, it's overreacting to a preseason match. Players are rusty, but Arsenal need a new left winger, somebody who changes the dynamic, somebody who can create brilliance from nothing, from looking like they're standing straight up, facing up to a fullback. And Rodrygo, that's the player on the market who can do that for Arsenal. And listen, I would be delighted by Eberechi Eze. I would be delighted by Javi Simons, either one. But Rodrygo, to me, is the deal that needs to get done. And Arsenal have clearly said he is the priority, and it will actually time up well. If you remember earlier in the year talking about these summer transfer deals, it's going to come down to you get 5 done, then you need to sell a bunch in order to go make that 6th deal happen. And it's been quiet on the Rodrygo front. He was at the Club World Cup. He's vacationing. It's quiet on the Rodrygo front right now. But what that doesn't mean is that we're not going to get an update on Rodrygo in the future. It'll probably be another week, maybe 2, before anything really happens. But in that time frame, we're going to make the sales we need to. Trossard, Sambi Lakanga, Fabio Vieira, hopefully Zinchenko, maybe Kivior, maybe Martinelli, like maybe Reiss Nelson. We're going to talk about him today, but those sales will happen, and then it should time up well with when the Rodrygo talks will reheat up. Yes, it's a bummer. Rodrygo will not be in the matchday squad for Arsenal against United. I think if we were to sign him, that's highly unlikely, but he's worth waiting for. We can go to Old Trafford and win without Rodrygo. I'm not worried about that. We need Rodrygo for the Champions League this year. We need him for the Premier League this year. We need Rodrygo. That, to me, has become the deal that needs to get done more than anything this coming summer. What didn't happen, though, is Jarell Hato. It looks like he will be going to Chelsea, which, and I saw a very funny tweet about this, means in 2 or 3 years he'll probably come to Arsenal. That wouldn't be so bad. Once we signed Mosquera, we knew that Hato wasn't happening this summer. There was no chance we were signing 2 defenders, especially 2 center backs, in this summer. It'll hurt to watch him play for Chelsea. He clearly wanted to come to Arsenal. We have a great relationship with Ajax. It seemed like a deal that could truly happen. He's going to hurt us for Chelsea. Very, very good player. Very good deal. £40 million for Jarell Hato. Very, very solid deal. Great left back for them. Puts Cucurella to the bench. Can fill in at left center back. Champions League experience. All the right things. It hurts to not get this deal done. It's when we almost got done last year. It's when we almost got done this year. I think Mosquera was a great market opportunity at 1/3 the price of Jarell Hato. But I also think part of us is going to come back and be like, this is a player we should have gotten this summer when we had the opportunity. This is a future world beater that's going to be going to one of our biggest rivals. Martin Odegaard. Martin Odegaard is suffering a huge identity crisis right now. It's a mix of a couple of things. He was never the same last year after that ankle injury. He just could not find the confidence in the way he struck the ball. He could not find confidence running. He could not find confidence riding challenges. He just looked physically weak and mentally weak. Now his biggest issue, on top of that, coming off of a bad season, is we're moving to a little bit of a different way that we play. And with a true number 10, Martin Odegaard isn't necessarily that player. That player needs to be someone who's decisive in his final action, who can score from outside the box, who is more of a creator in terms of shot-creating actions and less of a creator in terms of build-up. Now, Martin Odegaard, when he came on loan to Arsenal from Real Madrid that first time, that is kind of the player that Martin Odegaard was becoming. That is the mold that he was becoming. But after years of kind of playing a little bit deeper, even at Sociedad, he played a little bit deeper. Martin Odegaard is really an 8. He's not a 10. And as we move to this true 10 formation, Ethan Nwaneri is going to surpass Martin Odegaard by the end of this year with the way things are looking. It's not just this one match. It's just the way that the two of them play and what's required in that role. Max Dowman is coming up. He's going to play in that number 10 role to a higher standard than Martin Odegaard is able to. Odegaard can play there very well. I'm not saying Odegaard is not a good player in that position, but it does feel like a lot of where we've moved to has moved past Martin Odegaard. And the key is for him is he needs to have a good year for us to win things. He needs to have a good year for us to have the ability to sell him at the end of this year, should that be what we need to do. Or he'll have an excellent year, and make that his own position. I'm not saying that there's no chance of that, but right now it's feeling like Martin Odegaard has become redundant. And with the way Ethan Nwaneri played in this match, it's starting to feel like we're going to be sitting here in January and Ethan Nwaneri is going to be the first choice 10. And that's a great thing. That's a great problem to have, and we haven't had that problem in a while. But it has kind of come to, a rock and a hard place here with this decision and what's going to happen next for Odegaard. And as our captain, I think it puts a little extra pressure on him. And lastly, Reiss Nelson. Reiss Nelson's contract is up in 2 summers, so 2027. He has been offered to Fulham, or Fulham have offered a loan with an obligation to buy at £10 million. I think Arsenal are going to hold out for either that fee up front. Right now you pay 10 with maybe 2 to 5 add-ons, or that obligation to buy is 15. I don't think Arsenal are going to just give loan with a £10 million obligation to buy. That doesn't make a lot of sense for Arsenal. They short-term would like a little cash to put towards Rodrygo, as I mentioned, or long-term, get the value of the player. Now, the question is, if I'm Arsenal, am I holding on to Reiss Nelson for a minute here and seeing if we can sell Trossard and Martinelli, bring in Rodrygo, and Nelson provides kind of the backup to Rodrygo? Because to me, with the way we saw Nelson play against AC Milan, there's still a player there. Like, I'm not going to get on the hype train about Reiss Nelson. He's been one of my favorite academy products ever. It has passed him in terms of being a superstar. But could he be a good squad player for us? Has he in the past? Yes. So to say if we were to get 80 million for Trossard and Martinelli, would you rather that than 30 million for Trossard and Nelson? Maybe. I would say maybe. So there's a lot to see what's going to go on here. My guess is Reiss Nelson will go back to Fulham and Arsenal will figure out a deal. This is Arsenal Report. We are doing daily. I am doing daily updates on Arsenal, the transfer window, and now we've got matches, breaking those down, the tactics, how it's all going to work out. So make sure to subscribe down below, and we'll talk to you next time.